George Kilpatrick, Inspiration for the Nation, celebrating people we feel good about. It's that time of year. It's a new year. It's a new day. And as per the tradition of George Kilpatrick, Inspiration for the Nation, we bring in the one and only chief motivator, the man on a mission, the Hall of Fame speaker, singer, best-selling author, and all that, and a bag of chips. It is Dr. Willie Jolley himself. The brother has trained Fortune 100 companies. He has trained and spoken all over the world, and he is a recognized leader in this space, has his own show on Sirius XM. There's not enough superlatives that I could say for this brother out here in these streets, but the most important superlative that I could come up with, Willie Jolley has been a mentor and a friend. Not was, but is a mentor and a friend. And we welcome him to the 2025 edition of Inspiration for the Nation. Willie Jolley, welcome to the program, and always good to see you and hear from you, my brother. I know there's a whole lot more I can say about this brother. Can I just say a few more things about him? He has achieved remarkable heights. He's come from humble beginnings. This is what his bio says. He's received many, many awards. He's spoken at the Crystal Cathedral. He is one of the top 5 leadership speakers. He's a certified speaker of distinction, and it goes on and on and on. Sometimes we have to stop and give even our friends their flowers. You know, it only takes a minute to change your life. A setup, a setback is a setup for a comeback. All that and a lot more, Willie Jolley. I just so much I can say, my brother. But good
man, you're just so kind, man. I'm just grateful that I get to say that my true claim to fame is that I am a friend of George Kilpatrick. That's it. That's all I got. That's all I need. I have to tell people when they say, tell us your background and your accolades, I say, I know George Kilpatrick. He's my guy. We're buddies. So greetings to everybody who's listening, wherever you may be, whether you're on radio, whether you're on podcast or you're online. I don't care where you're getting this message from. I just want to say greetings. And if you've heard me before, you know I start the same way. I have only just a minute, only 60 seconds in it. It's forced upon me. I can't refuse it. I did not seek it. No, I did not choose it, but it's up to me to use it. I must suffer if I lose it, give account if I abuse it. Oh, just a tiny little minute, but our eternities are wrapped up in it. So I'm grateful for this minute, this moment, this opportunity to be on with my friend George Kilpatrick, Inspiration for the Nation. And for all of you, may God bless you. Happy New Year. And I hope this is your best year yet.
And let's talk about that, Willie, because I want to contextualize our conversation today. And I want you to come with all the tips and all the things that we could do in 2025. But it seems to me that this year especially, we have some apprehension.
Yeah.
Because we've as a country, elected someone that we never thought would ever get back in office, or some of us never thought that.
Some of us, half of us did, half of us
exactly
did.
Right.
Half of us did. It's really better to say for me, half of us didn't, and half of us did.
Yeah.
The did outweighed us who was the didn't. Okay,
exactly right. So, given that, you know, there's a lot of uncertainty, especially around our own personal goals. The spaces that we're in, the progress for those that didn't, for the progress that we thought we made, and institutions that seem to be about progressing things seemingly under review. I'll say, well, no, I'm gonna say how I really think. They're under attack, and so given that, and as we prepare ourselves for that environment, we still can reach our goals. We can still make tons of money. We can still do that, but we have to navigate it a little differently to succeed. At least that's my perception. And so that's what I want to talk about today, Willie, in the context of this apprehensive environment that some of us feel. How do we win in environments of uncertainty, I guess is is the kind
Yeah.
of thematically how I like to approach this conversation. And does that make sense?
No, absolutely. How do we win in times of uncertainty? And
Yeah.
particularly uncertainty that is filled with anxiety.
Yes. Yes.
We
That's the
all
word.
have some level of anxiety, of uncertainty. All of us. We don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, but we get used to living in a time of uncertainty because there's some certainty that we see and we're expecting. The sun's going to come up in the morning, the moon's going to come out at night. We're pretty certain those things are going to happen. We're going to, most of us will sleep at night, wake up in the morning, we have some routine, but with what is facing us, there's a great deal of uncertainty and it creates a massive amount of anxiety. And so what do we do now? And my mindset is what I've told people to do in my book, a setback is a set up for a comeback. That when you've had a setback in your life, you got to make a decision. You got to decide, do you see this as a setback period or a setback, comma? Do you see this as the end of the road or a bend in the road? And those who are willing to see it as a bend in the road know that there's more down the road. And they have read the books. You know, when I was a child, they taught me to read that you had two punctuation marks that were necessary for you to read and write. You had a period and a comma. Period meant end of the story, no more to be said. Full stop, as they say in Australia. But a comma meant pause, transition, more to the story. Keep going, keep reading. There's more to this story. And that's a decision each of us will have to make. Do we see this as a setback period or setback, comma? Is this setback the end of the story, full stop? We're just going to go into a dismal abyss? Or do we see this as a setback, comma? Keep going, keep reading, keep striving, keep moving. That's what I'm recommending people do because that's what I'm planning to do. As I said, I was one of the ones who didn't be part of the majority. In this vote, I was part of the minority. I was one who voted for a woman who I thought was well ready for being president. It didn't win. Now, I have to make a decision. Do I see this setback period or setback, comma? I always see life as commas. Comma, comma, comma. Many people say, well, you started Willie as a singer. You should have put a period after that. But I said, no, that's to put a comma after that. So I became a singer who became a speaker. Okay, yes, put a period there, Willie. No, I put a comma there. I'm going to write some books. All right, that's good. Now let's put a period. No, I want to put a comma where I'm going to not just write some books. I'm going to have the books to become radio programs. And I became a radio host, and the last almost 20 years been on Sirius XM, with which now is the #1 self-help show in the country. And then on Radio 1 stations across America on their Praise Network with Get Up Mornings with Erica Campbell. And then my podcast is in the top 5% of downloads globally. All because I kept putting commas. So I'm saying with this situation, I continue to put a comma. Yeah, it's not the way I planned it, not the way I wanted it, but I'm going to win. Bottom line, George, listen to my voice. Listen to my words. I'm going to win because I choose to. I choose to win, and I want everybody who's listening to make the decision. We're going to win. I don't know how, but a winner's attitude says, I don't know how I'm going to win all the time. Michael Jordan had a winner's attitude. He said, I don't know how we're going to win. We're down by X amount of points. We got less than a minute. Give me the ball. We're going to win. Joe Montana had a winner's attitude. Oh, we got to go to the length of the field. We got 30 seconds. Don't worry. We're going to win. When you get a winner's attitude and you inspire and encourage and empower others around you as well who are on your team to get a winner's attitude, you tend to win more because you expect to win more and you will not give up and throw in the towel without pursuing that winning position.
You said something right there.
Yeah.
You said getting others around you on your team that also have a winning attitude. And so that begs the question, part of what we might be experiencing in our quest to win in challenging times is that we may have to change the team that we're on. We may have to get traded. We may have to trade ourselves to a different team.
Well, there are 3 ways to grow a team. In my book, An Attitude of Excellence, I say that you want to have a great organization. Great people give great service. Good people give good service. Mediocre people give mediocre service, and negative people will kill your organization. So you've got a few options, 3 that I can think of, for growing a great team. You can see it at the NBA, the NFL. You can draft great players.
Mm-hmm.
You can trade for great players to make your team better. Or you can take the ones you've got and make them better by changing their inputs. Inputs determine outputs. And so I believe that some of the teams we got with us are people that we may not be able to change so rapidly, like family members.
Mm-hmm.
But we can change them by changing their input. So I always recommend, when people say, well, my spouse doesn't believe in my dream, or somebody in my family who's close and is influential, I say change their influence, their points of influence, by changing their inputs. Rather than taking one of my books, I always tell people to start with my book, It Only Takes a Minute to Change Your Life. Everybody who's listening, if you've not read It Only Takes a Minute to Change Your Life, go to my website and get it right now. It only takes a minute to change your life. If you want to change your life, this book is the starting point. I tell them, get the book, It Only Takes a Minute to Change Your Life. Take it to your negative friend, family member, coworker, spouse, whatever, and tell them this line. Listen carefully how I say it. I heard this guy named Willie Jolley, and I was impressed. He was dynamite. And I got his book, and I was impressed. But I want your opinion of his book. Would you let me know what you think of this book? So you didn't tell them you need this book, which they do. Because if you say you need this book, they'll never read it. But if you stroke their ego and say, give me your opinion of this book, then they are pumped up. They feel some kind of way and say, I guess you want my thinking. And so they'll read the book. Once they read the book, I got them. I got them, because they're going to change their thinking. This book is going to lead you to a path of showing you step by step how you can have better, do better, achieve more, have greater success, and you can win a lot more than you're winning now. It only takes a minute to change your life. So I encourage everybody, get that book, do what I told you. I want your opinion of this book. You'll start to see your team change. The people on your team change. If you have a business, I encourage you to get the book, An Attitude of Excellence. I just mentioned that book. Get that. Many companies now are getting it for all their employees. They're buying it in mass, hundreds of copies, thousands of copies are going out off to companies who say, we're going to make this mandatory reading so that everybody on our team can have an attitude of excellence, and we can have greater performance, which will lead to greater productivity, which will lead to greater profits. So An Attitude of Excellence, you want to get that book. All of those are available at williejolly.com on my products page, williejolly.com on my products page. Now, you can change your people. Sometimes the best way to change your people is change your people, correct, which is get new people. But sometimes it's not easy to get new people because they might be, as I said, family members and part of your inner circle.
Yeah.
So just take your time, change the inputs, and you'll change the outputs.
Talking with Dr. Willie Jolley, internationally acclaimed motivational speaker, author, and more, and you know, talk show host, podcast excellence. As so, when we talked about winning in challenging times, and I think we're anticipating that the times are going to be challenging, and you just talked about having a winning team and some things that we might do to motivate that team. And man, I want to go somewhere else, so I'm just going to do it. Okay,
Go ahead.
and
Go
I'll
ahead.
come
Go
back.
ahead. Yeah, come back.
I'm thinking about pivotal times in our history that have been challenging, and we as for Black folk in particular, even during the worst times in our history, we created some of the greatest things imaginable. And so, what is the attitude and mindset? So I'm thinking back, during the time of Jim Crow. I'm thinking of the time of massive second class citizenship, apartheid in the American apartheid in the South, and I'm thinking about the creation of institutions and the founding of historically Black colleges and universities, and the inventors like George Washington Carver, and the thinkers like Du Bois and Booker T. Washington, and the leaders like Mary McLeod Bethune, and I'm going to leave out some because there's so many, and Ida B. Wells, all these folks, right? During some of the most challenging times, these folks were winning in a way that they created, even out of a time that was very difficult for our country. So if they could do it, we could do it.
Absolutely. If you know how and you have the mindset and the willingness to do it.
Okay, come on.
And I think it starts with the mindset and willingness, even when you don't know how. Okay. Then you develop the skill set. You start with the mindset, the willingness, the attitude, the perspective, and then you work on the skill set, the ability to do it. So that is why I'm very excited to announce to you, George, that my new book will be out shortly. And it's a book that I think probably might be the biggest book I've ever written. It's a book about helping people to do what you just mentioned, to grow themselves and their legacies, even in difficult times. The book is entitled Rich is Good, Wealthy is Better.
Come on.
Rich is good, wealthy is better. It's built on two big mountains. One mountain is the fact that for the last 20 years now, I've had the Willie Jolley Wealthy Way show, and the last 5 or 6 years, the podcast, Willie Jolley Wealthy Ways podcast, which has become the number one self-help show in the country, one of the top podcasts and downloads, where I've had the blessing to interview some of the world's greatest wealth creators. And out of those interviews, that series of interviews, I learned that what I thought about wealth was incorrect. What I was thinking about wealth was wrong. And I learned that the difference between being rich and wealthy by interviewing these folks. And one day the light bulb went off above my head and said, aha, wow. Once I figured out the difference, everything in my life changed. So if I did it, the first thing I did was to start a survey, just informal survey, walking up to friends, family members, people I knew, people I didn't know, just asking people the same question. Let me ask you a question. If I told you somebody was rich, what would you think, or what would be the amount of money you think they would have? What is rich?
Do you want me to guess that, or do you just
say $1 million?
Mm-hmm.
You get $1 million, you're rich. I said, okay, great. Well, if rich is $1 million, what's wealthy? Then they'll look for a moment and scratch their head and do what I would have done before I got the enlightenment. I would say, oh, I guess wealthy then is about $5 million or $10 million or above that. Most people, that's what they think, George. That rich is $1 million and wealthy is a bigger form of rich. Wrong. Rich is money that is generated by what you do during the day, what you do for a living, playing basketball, playing baseball, singing, dancing, architecture, radio, whatever you do for the day, that you can become rich. Wealthy is money that is generated at night while you're in bed sleeping. Let me say that again. Rich is money that is generated by what you do during the day. Wealthy is money that is generated by what you own and while you sleep at night.
Why did I know you were going to say that?
Okay, this is the speak. Now, that's the first pillar this book is built on.
Right.
The second pillar is that there are 5 money mindsets, George, that we see in America. And everybody is aware of these money mindsets, but has never delineated them or brought them to light in this manner. The first money mindset, the bottom line mindset, is the day, 24-hour mindset. People who live day to day. You often see them on the street, on a corner, with a cardboard box saying, give me enough money. Give me some money to make it through the day, to get some food today. And they do that every day, 365 days a year. Then you get the 30-day mindset. People who live month to month. At the end of the month, they are scrambling, just waiting for that next payment to come into their bank account, their WIC card, their welfare check, whatever it is. They think month to month. Then there are the year-to-year people. Typically, we call them the middle class, who think year to year. Did I get a raise this year? Did I get a cost of living increase this year? And they are judging their life year to year. Then you get the rich. Now, the rich tend to think decade to decade. We often see the rich in entertainment or sports.
Right.
An entertainer will be hot for 10 years. And then the music changes. Or you see an athlete who gets a 10-year contract, $100,000, $100 million.
I was going to say 100,000. He ain't going nowhere with that.
$100 million pay baseball. But after 10 years, if that contract ends, which most do, and they are not continuing to play baseball, if they have not modified their lifestyle, then they're going to be broke. Statistics show over 70% of professional athletes are broke 5 years after retirement. So you got the day-to-day, the month-to-month, the year-to-year, the decade-to-decade, the rich, but then you get the wealthy. The wealthy tend to think generation to generation to generation. They are thinking about how they can instill and create ongoing revenue streams for 5 generations from now. The Bible says that a good man leaves an inheritance for his children's children's great-grandchildren. I interviewed the president of the Dale Carnegie Institute, well-known leadership and communications organization. We talked for a few minutes and I asked him about their business model. He said, we have franchises, Dale Carnegie Institute franchises all over the world. I asked him how many franchises there were. He told me a number. It was in the thousands. I said, wow. I said, what's the franchise fee? He told me the amount. I did a quick calculation. That amount of money, but that many people, wow. That's a lot of money coming into the Dale Carnegie Institute every year. That's a lot of money. I said, my man, where can I buy some Dale Carnegie stock? He said, you can't. You can't buy it. It's not for sale. I said, why? He said, because it's a private company. I said, well, who owns a company? He said, the family. The Carnegie family owns the company. How long have they owned it? Since 1910. Wow. 115 years. No, 125 years. No, 115 years. I'm sorry. 115 years. This family, multiple generations, have been getting a stream of income because something this guy created back in 1910. That's generational wealth. That's what we should shoot for. This book is going to talk about how to help people understand the 5 money mindsets. And the goal of the book, George, is to get each mindset to step up one step. I'm not trying to get the day-to-day person to get to the wealthy immediately, because it's too long a chasm, right? Too far, too much distance. But if I can get that day-to-day to just move up to the 30-day, and get the 30-day people to move up to the year, and the year people to move up to the decade, and the decade people to move up to generation, then I have done my job. So that's it. So you're on mute. I can't hear you.
Oh, I don't know. Can you hear me now? And so, given that, right? Let's talk about then, and it could be from the book, a preview of the book. But what are the strategies then that you recommend for folks to stay motivated throughout the year?
Oh, by the way, before we go to it, you can pre-order the book right now.
Yes.
At richisgood.wealthyisbetter.com. Because some people who are listening saying, I want that book right now. It's not out yet. But you can pre-order. People are already pre-ordering the book. richisgood.wealthyisbetter.com. richisgood.wealthyisbetter.com. Okay, go ahead, George.
All right, so what are the strategies then that you recommend for staying motivated throughout the year during especially challenging times of high anxiety? How do you personally set goals to ensure that you achieve them?
This is so good, because I was telling my wife today, my church in Washington, D.C. does every year, has been doing for the last these 20 years, a year beginning or kickoff year, New Year's, they call it a New Year's revival.
Mm-hmm.
And the key speaker every year has been Bishop T.D. Jakes.
Mm-hmm.
Over 20 years. He comes on Friday. There's a Wednesday night speaker, a Thursday night speaker, but Jakes has been there every Friday for the last 20 years. First Friday after the week after New Year's. And then Saturday morning, every Saturday morning, the following Saturday morning, he does a leadership development seminar. And people flock to this thing because he tells them, help you become successful. What did I do to become successful? And he says, but this year, as many people know, Bishop Jakes had a health challenge.
Right.
And has had to curtail his schedule. So he's not coming this year.
Mm-hmm.
So they're not going to do the annual leadership development program on is going to be on, it would usually be on the 9th or 10th, whatever that first Saturday. I think it's the 9th or 10th. Let me see what that is, of January. So this year, he is not going to happen on January the
11th.
11th. It was going to be on the 11th. It's not going to happen. So this year on the 11th, I decided I'm going to do a leadership development New Year's event seminar. We're doing it on Zoom, online, and I'm going to open it to everybody who wants to join. We're going to talk about what you were just asking, because I wish I had enough time in this interview to give you all the points that I'm going to employ and all the things I do every year and the things that help me this year. Let me tell you, this has been a really good year. This has been a good year. Last year was a really good year. Last year, I got the beginning of 2023, I was given the Joseph R. Biden Presidential Lifetime Achievement Award in January.
Excellent.
In July, I was given last year in July the highest award in the speaking industry, the Cavett Award, which is like the Heisman or the Oscar. And I'm the first African-American man in history to get that award. I was honored to have Les Brown sitting next to me when they called my name. This year has been a good year. The thing that I'm very excited about this year, I did just recently got the Titan of Public Speaking Award at the Hope Global Forum. Myself, Les Brown, and George Frazier were given the Titans of Public Speaking Award. And we were the initial recipients of that award. Plus, this year, I did something, George, that I've been working on for a number of years. I got debt-free.
Ooh.
My business got debt-free. My home is the only debt I have, and that's because my financial advisor said, you got such a low interest rate, you are better getting the tax benefits from your paying your mortgage at this time than paying it off. But other than that, I have no debt. Now, this is a guy you're talking to, though, George, who 2 years ago, after coming out of the pandemic, I was $250,000 in debt.
$250,000.
$250,000 in debt because I refused to fire my staff when things went south. March the 10th, 2020, all my speeches, all my events went away. I had to make a decision. Do I keep my staff or not? These people have been good to me. They've been my backbone. They've had my back. So we took out loans to make sure we could keep them on payroll. And so between that and the other expenses with money not coming in, we had to make some loans to keep us afloat. So we were $250,000 in debt. And thank God, and with hard work, I tell people, you got to do three things. You got to work hard, you got to work smart, and you got to trust God. I did those three things, and we're now out of debt. This year was a big year for that. So what I'm telling people about is, what do I do every year? This year, last year, the last few years, first of the year, I set goals. I have a set of goals. I have my personal goals, my professional goals, my health goals, my family goals, my financial goals. I set goals. Now, I used to set a goal or a couple goals. But once I realized how important it was to put them in categories, I have a personal goal. What's my health goal? Your health should be your number one goal across all your goals. Because if you don't have good health, Les Brown gave me a quote I love. He said, a sick person has one goal, one dream, to get well. A healthy person has 1,000 goals, 1,000 dreams. So you got to focus on the most important, being healthy. Then I got my family goals. What are my family goals? Because wealth without someone to share it with is a lonely existence.
Mm. Mm, mm, mm.
So I got my health goals, my family goals, and then I got my financial goals. I've put my goals into 4 categories, George. I think I've said this over the years. What's my giving goal? Because I learned the more you give, the more you get. The more you put out, you could get back. It's.
And you put a number on that?
I put a number on it.
Mm-hmm.
I got a giving goal. I want to give X. In order to give, I got to get. Come on, somebody. You can't give if you ain't got.
Okay.
So I got getting goal. What must I get so I can give the number that I put out there? Then my third one is what must I do this year so that I can get, so that I can give? What books must I write? What speeches must I give? What radio shows must I create? What podcasts must I produce? What television programs must I develop? What music should I put into the marketplace? What T-shirts and products should I create, and all sorts of swag that will help people? What must I do so I can get, so I can give? And then my fourth category in this is, what must I become? What must I be? What do I have to develop myself so I can, what must I be as a person so I can do, so I can get, so I can give?
And this question of what should I be means that there are some mindset shifts that have to happen in order to make the most of the opportunities that you just talked about.
Right. Remember this, that there's an old saying that says, wherever you are in life, your best thinking got you there. Wherever you are in this point in your life, your best thinking has gotten you to wherever you are. So knowing that my best thinking has gotten me wherever I've gotten, and I want to get more, then I got to grow my thinking. I got to think bigger, better, and greater if I want to get bigger, better, and greater. So I got to grow myself. I got to grow me. I got to read more books. I got to develop myself. I got to work on my skill sets. I've got to continue to get better. I say in my book, An Attitude of Excellence, that every day I wake up with this mindset, George. If I want better children, I need to be a better parent. If I want a better marriage, I need to be a better partner. If I want a better life, I need to be a better me. I need to be a better Willie Jolley. And who's the only one who keeps me from it? Me. Nobody else keeps you from getting better. No one else keeps you from developing yourself but us. So we have to work on ourselves and make the decision that we're going to develop the discipline to read, to study, to work on ourselves. We're going to make the decision that we're going to get healthy this year. We're going to make the decision that there's some things I could eat before I can't eat anymore. I have to make the decision that I'm going to go to the gym and work out, because I know that there is a direct correlation between working out and longevity of life. I've got to make the decision that I'm going to get good mentorship. I'm going to take some classes. I'm going to learn more about financial literacy so I can be better at money management. I'm going to work on me and get better. Benjamin Franklin said the greatest investment you can ever make is the investment you make in yourself. Because the pennies you pour into your head will produce dollars you can pour into your bank account.
Come on, somebody. Listen, talking with Dr. Willie Jolley, internationally known, best-selling author, speaker, coach. And Willie, I'm thinking of situational things where people that I know of are stuck. And let me bring you into the way I think they're stuck. They have the ideas, they have the like let's say we're in conversation and it all sounds good in that moment, and then the execution of the thoughts don't come, or there's a delusion around what is actually going to happen for them to be where they want. All the things you're saying, they would be, if we were having that conversation, they would be like, yep, on that. But then when it comes to the execution, something happens.
Yeah.
Where, and in fact, I want to talk about it this way. Help me help somebody who has who, for those of us who self-sabotage.
Yeah, sure.
Right. You know what I mean? The people who mean well, they get it, but the execution falls just short.
They get it, but they don't never get it. Okay.
They don't get right. Yes.
They get what it takes, but they don't never do the work. They don't get it. So here's what most, Zig Ziglar said people aren't successful for one of three reasons. One, they're sick. They're physically sick. They don't have the energy. Let's go back to that health thing. The man who's sick has one dream to get healthy. The one who's well has 1,000 dreams. So they're sick. The number two reason people don't become successful, because they are lazy or unmotivated. Okay. And that means they got that we've got to help motivate them by their inputs changing. The reason they are wherever you are is because of your thinking. Your thinking is determined by what you're reading, listening to. The third thing is they don't set goals. And the reason they don't set goals is because they don't know how to set goals. It's hard. It's cognitive work. It's hard work to set goals. It's not lifting bricks and it's not breaking bricks, but it's still, you got to sit down and think and do some logical, cognitive, rational thinking. So most people don't know how to do that. They don't know the systems for creating great, empowering. That's the word you want, George. Why aren't they engaging? They're not empowered. They're not inspired. They're not motivated. They're not pushed to do it. I want to help push them to do it by giving them some tools that will help them set empowering goals so they can do better this year than last year. So if you go to winwithwillie.com, that's the site. Win with WITH Willie, WILLIE, easy. Winwithwillie.com. There's a goal setting class. It's about 4 hours, George, but I recommend everybody go to winwithwillie.com, hit that goal setting class, take the class, purchase the class, 3-4 hours, invest in the class, sit around the table with your computer open and your family, a pad and a pencil. Everybody got a pad and a pen, and it's going to take you step by step through the goal setting process to help you with empowering goals. That's the reason why people don't do it, because they're not empowered. They don't know how to do it. And many are so unempowered, uninspired that they do nothing.
Yeah.
And they have them. Look, here's the thing. They have the capacity.
Right. Or they're immotivated. My father used to say this to me sometimes. Head of steam. You have the motivation in the moment, but he would also say the thrill of the moment is not everlasting.
Right.
So you do have to have established routines, and I'm sure you can recommend some things that people can do in addition to the course. What are some of the daily habits?
Let me start with a few things. I've given you those 4. What are your giving goals? When you get a mindset that I've learned that the more I give, the more I get, the more I put out, the more comes back to me. That works. It's a principle of the universe. It's a universal principle. Just like gravity, you throw a rock up 1,000 times, it's going to come down 1,000 times because of this principle called gravity. The principle of giving, putting out, giving, blessing others, and it'll bring back blessings to you. It's a principle. It works. It's going to work because it's a universal principle. Now, these principles, I told you, the first one is the giving. What do I want to give this year? In order to give, I got to get. So in order to get, I got to get a giving goal, then a doing goal, then a being goal. And if I do this over and over again, I get out of debt. I get the cars or the things that I've wanted. I'm willing to put them off today in order to get the greater tomorrow. It's called delayed gratification. I want to create wealth, not just be rich. Rich is good. I want rich first.
Right.
But I don't want to stop at rich. Many people get stuck at rich. It's like going up a mountain and they get halfway up, get to base camp, and they get comfortable, and they stay there for 40 years because they never knew that the benefits of getting to the summit. Wealth is the summit. So they get comfortable. I'm encouraging you to get rich. Great. Do it. Get rich, but then turn that rich into wealth by what you own, your stocks, your bonds, your investments. Okay. So here's the thing. Get those 4 goals. Get the goal setting, winwithwillie.com. Get the goal setting class. Go through the exercises. And then I'm going to give you the 10 steps to make this the best year of your life. Okay. I'm going to give them to you right now. Out of my book, It Only Takes a Minute to Change Your Life. I told everybody to get that book. All right. So here we go. 10 steps to make this the best year of your life. I'm going to give them to you real quick, George, because we don't have that much time.
Let's go.
Let's roll. Step number one. Step number one. Decide what you want. How you going to have a dream come true if you don't have a dream? What do you want? You ask people, what do you want? Most people say, well, I don't want to work here. I don't want to do this. They can't tell you what they do want. They just tell you what they don't want. Number 2, write it down on a piece of paper and be specific, or in your phone or in your iPad or wherever you write. Write it down.
Can you say something about that? Is there a difference between the physical pen touching the paper or the thumb hitting the phone?
No, I don't think it's a difference.
Okay.
I like writing physically because there's something about the scripture says, write the vision, make it plain that he that reads it may run the race, that I can get to read my written word and I don't lose it. It's something about the writing of it that I feel. But I'm not gonna beat somebody up because look, we're in a generation where people they do all their writing by tapping on a keyboard.
Right.
Okay, but if that's what you want to do, but I like writing it, putting it on a wall. Okay, write it down. Write the vision. Don't say you want to be rich. Be specific. Write a number. One person ceiling, another person floor. Read your goals. Write your goals down and read your goals 3 times a day. Once in the morning, get your focus. Here's my goal. Here's my goal. This year, my goal. My friend Brian Tracy says you rewrite your goals every day. You rewrite your goals. In fact, I encourage everybody to go to my podcast, listen to Brian Tracy's podcast interview for goal setting. It's phenomenal. And he has taught people to become millionaires through goal setting. All right. But at least read your goals every day. Set a date. Put a date next to your goal. Don't just say, I want to be X this year or sometime in my life. What's the date? If you don't set a date, you'll procrastinate. So by X date, I want to lose X amount of weight. Okay. I already know that. That's my goal this year. I got a weight goal. I got to lose some weight, and I know what the date is, and I know how much I want to weigh. So if I got to break it out, if I get a pound and a half a week, a pound a week for the next 20 weeks, I'm gonna hit my goal. Okay, I'm gonna get close to my goal. Then number 5, think of it often. Take time daily to think and ask yourself, what do I want? Here are 4 questions. Oh, this is good, George. What do I want? Number 2, what am I presently doing to get what I say I want? Number 3, after you've written these out, write these out. What do I want? Write it down. What am I presently doing to get what I want? Write it down. Then ask, after you've written it down, then ask the 3rd question. What more could I be doing to get what I want? What more could I do to get what I say I want? And number 4 is, this is the ouch question, George. What must I stop doing?
Ooh, uh-oh.
In order to get what I want. This is an ouch.
Yeah.
I want to lose weight. I got to stop eating ice cream at night. I like ice cream. I like desserts, but I can't eat it every night. I had to stop. I can't do it and hit the goal. Those things are inconsistent. I can't spend all my money and say I want to invest my money this year. I can't blow it on foolishness and say, I want to invest. Those are inconsistent. So then you dream and imagine. Number 6, dream and imagine. See yourself in that car you wanted. See yourself in that home you wanted. See yourself paying off your kids' tuition with a check. See yourself buying your parents a home or taking your whole family on a cruise and paying it for everybody. See yourself, whatever you want, dream and imagine, seeing yourself, and then work toward it. Number 7, develop a plan of action. If you fail to plan, you're planning to fail. If you fail to plan, you're planning to fail. So get a plan. It doesn't have to be in concrete. Just get it. It is okay to make it shift. Number 8, do 3 things every day toward your goal.
Okay.
Take action. Do 3 things. Make a phone call. Write a letter. Ask somebody for help. 3 things done consistently is better than 100 things done inconsistently. Do it every day. 3 things. That's what my friends Chicken Soup for the Soul, how they became the largest selling book series of all time by doing 3 things every day toward their goal. Number 9, stay positive. This is hard when going back to what we started this interview. In this negative world with all of the negative, the anxiety, uncertainty, it's hard to stay positive in a negative situation. How do you do that? Change your inputs.
Okay.
Everybody should be getting my 1-minute motivational message every day, Monday through Friday.
I love it. I get it. It comes right in my inbox.
Look, if y'all would just go to wjwow.com, wjwow.com, you can sign up for the newsletter. Every day you'll get a 1-minute video that will just give you positive thinking. And your inputs will determine your outputs. And then number 10, act as though you've achieved it. Fake it till you make it.
I was going to say, that's what they say around the way. Fake
it. Here's what it really means. Act your way into a new way of thinking so you can think your way into a new way of acting. Act like you're somebody going somewhere to do something big and bold and great. Like you got $1 million in your pocket if you only got $1. Like you somebody. Act like it. And your brain will start to be programmed to think like it. And when you think like it, you start acting at another level. Come on.
No, listen. All right. Now let me ask you about this, because this, I want to talk about, as we wrap.
Yes.
How that, what you just said about think your way into a new way of acting and act your way to a new way of thinking. How do you not fall prey to imposter syndrome?
Well, I think we all can get part of it. I've had imposter syndrome. And what I got to do is start having conversations with myself and say, you know what? I did this when I first started, because I had the imposter syndrome. When who would listen to me? Why would somebody listen to me? Why would somebody listen to me? I got no credential to be a speaker or author. So the imposter syndrome would start to, but what I did was went in the mirror. Look myself in the eye. Look myself in the eye and say, Willie Jolley, you were born for greatness. Willie Jolley, you were born for greatness. And I said it over and over like a mantra till I looked myself in the eye long enough and said, you know what? I can do this. Sometimes you got to pull yourself up off the canvas. You get knocked down. You feeling like an impossible. You go to the mirror. You look yourself in the eye. Nobody else is coming to your rescue. The cavalry's not coming. You ain't gonna hear. You're not gonna hear that. They're not coming. So you got to get up off the canvas for a moment, just enough time to go to that mirror, look yourself in the eye, and say, "You were born for greatness." Go. Also, one other thing I do: I listen to positive music. I have a whole positive music project. It's called the Music and Motivation, Money Making Music and Motivation, or something like that. It's on my winwithwillie.com. Go there. It's a music. I listen to that music every day when I get in my office. Every day. It empowers me. It inspires me. It pumps me up. So, take resources that will help you to grow, and then use those resources to develop your thinking so you can win more.
And is that your bundle pack back there?
Yeah, man, it's all my stuff back there. Some of my Wow Box. Go to that, get the Wow Box. Man, the Wow Box got all my books, all my audio books, all my music, all my CDs, all my wealth building projects. It's got a big old box full of stuff. Can't even, that used to have a little handle you could carry. It's got so much stuff now, you got to hold it like up under here. You got to hold it like up under here. So get that box. It will change your life. But get any of the resources, winwithwillie.com. Get this. It will change your life. And that's what we want to do, help you grow.
Willie Jolley, internationally known best-selling author, Dr. Willie Jolley, Lifetime Achievement Award, Speaker Awards galore, but a friend of George, more importantly. WillieJolley.com, and that will link you to all of the other websites. Pre-order his new book, Rich is Good, Wealthy is Better.com. You can pre-order and get, and right now they got a little special going, so please go online and get that. And when that book comes out, we'll be right back here.
We're gonna do another interview because I'm gonna go deep and do deep dive into how to help people create real wealth, real generational wealth.
But more importantly, we want to kick your new year off right. And so the last thing that people need to do right now, today, be grateful. Yes.
Be grateful.
Yes.
I mean, it's one thing. If you got one thing and it don't cost you a penny, be grateful. Say, God, thank you. I got another day. Be grateful. There's something about gratitude. It empowers you. It empowers you. Be grateful. Say, I'm grateful. Oh, everything ain't perfect. My family's jacked up. My finances jacked up. But I'm grateful. Let's find something to be grateful for every day. You be on your way. That's it.
My wife and I were talking about this at our Kwanzaa the other day. WillieJolley.com, our great friend.
WinWithWillie.com. Go to any of them, but Win with Willie got all my sites. They got the marriage.
WinWithWillie.com.
Win with Willie. Get that marriage book. Get all of those stuff. WinWithWillie.com. God bless you, George Kilpatrick. You are a gentleman and a scholar and a blessing to our country and to the world. I'm grateful to have you as my friend.
George Kilpatrick, Inspiration for the Nation. Willie Jolley, Dr. Willie Jolley, winwithwilliejolly.com. George Kilpatrick, Inspiration for the Nation, wishing you and yours a very happy new year.